Hi everybody and welcome back to Apnin News, and thanks for joining me, Kevin. Now, what I thought I'd speak about today is crime, or should I say serious crime, in the UK getting worse? Okay, that's my question. Because if I was to put in a Freedom of Information request to government, to the Home Office, okay, they would come back and tell me, send me stats, and say, no, and show me. No, it's not getting worse. Now, I haven't done that because I'm not about to wait 2-3 months for a Freedom of Information request to come through. Now, the reason I question this is I work with a lot of police forces around the UK and internationally, in America, in Europe. So I work with the likes of the FBI, US Department of Homeland Security, Interpol, Europol, National Crime Agency, and numerous um, regional police forces around the UK. And my inboxes on a daily basis, especially when it comes to the Met Police, Greater Manchester Police, and let's not forget ICE as well. I get inundated every day. Now, the irony is today I'm actually feeling a little bit lonely because I'm not single, not a lie. I've had three so far today. So I've had one from the Met Police to do with counter-terrorism, one from Greater Manchester Police to do with a serious collision, probably a car crash, which I haven't got to yet, and a fatal collision in Harrow. And I question whether crime is getting worse because they say if you compare it back to the 1990s, serious crime's lower. But does that mean serious crime is actually falling? Because 1990s, that's like, what, 30 years ago. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was born in the late 70s. And the way I look at it is, even though my inbox hasn't been filled up today, due to police forces, normally it is. I lose track how many stabbings, murders, rapes, paedophiles I get sent on a daily basis. I get inundated with them. And it's a bit like one of my ex-girlfriends. This is going to get me in a bit of trouble with my wife. And I've told this story a few times. My ex-girlfriend, who I had a child with, who doesn't let me see, doesn't let me see my daughter. Okay, she said to me last year, it was around about maybe a bit later than this time last year. She said to me, Kevin, how do you cope with all the crime stories you get? And I said to her, to be honest, I don't, because I don't read them anymore. I get so tired of it all. Okay. Because you end up seeing the worst of humanity, and you don't want to believe people in this country are that bad because they're not all foreigners. Anybody wants to believe that all crimes committed by people coming in on the boats, okay, they're living in cloud cuckoo land, because it isn't. Okay, not disputing that happens, because it does, but that's not the biggest percentage of it at the end of the day. So what I want to know is it a case of the stats look like what crime's falling because people aren't reporting crime? Because all you've got to do, in my view, is take a look at one of the bosses of one of the big superstores recently said that basically they don't bother reporting shoplifting. And I know that's not serious crime, But there's always a victim in any crime at the end of the day. Okay. Because they know the police aren't going to do anything. So it's a waste of time. It's a waste of a phone call. So is it a case that crime's not being reported, so it looks like crime's falling, rather in the case of back in the day, people committed a crime, it got bloody reported. So is it more a case of that's what's happening now, because the trust in the police, because the people, general public, see that the police have gone so woke and they see them as a waste of time, but they just can't be bothered to do it. Classic one is, as an example, is rape. How many rapes don't go forward to courts nowadays? Now, to be honest, when you look at the conviction rate when they do go to court, it's over 50% at the end of the day. So you've got a good conviction rate, but people committing them and going to actual court ain't good. I believe I saw a stat recently that said it was less than 10%, and that ain't good, to be honest. So let's get to the nuts of it. And what I want to know: do the general public actually believe violent crime or serious crime is actually really falling, rather than what the government tell us? So let us know in the comments down below. If you think it's increasing, let us know. Okay, if you think it's falling, still let me know and tell me you actually believe what the government is saying. So let us know in the comments down below. Don't want any kind of argument or anything. Just let us know what you personally believe. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again a bit later.